So yesterday, while I was slaving over a paper in the library at 1 a.m., I came across an article on the website for Advertising Age magazine called Ohio Needs a Tourism Campaign. Got any ideas? Obviously intrigued, I went on to read that Tourism Ohio put out an open call for ideas at the start of December for a new advertising campaign. They said they were through with what they called random acts of marketing, putting out one commercial per year, typically in the summer, inviting Ohioans and out-of-state tourists to head up to Lake Erie or visit Amish country. It's all pretty predictable if you ask me. And I'm not afraid to say it. I haven't been to many places within my own home state. I've driven through Columbus maybe once, and the drive to Cincinnati is just as far as the drive to DC. And while I know that the rest of my state has wonderful things to offer, I think that my bias of Northern Ohio, and specifically Cleveland, are definitely justified. I'm not going to submit anything to Tourism Ohio. While I may be a marketing minor, I don't have the time or the energy to try and explain why my whole state is great. Yet this idea inspired me. Why not talk about why I think Cleveland is great? And yes, I've seen the hastily made Cleveland tourism viral videos that circulated the internet a few years back. I think they're hilarious, but they are sadly a pretty accurate depiction of what the city looked like when the recession first hit. But now that the economy is recovering, or at least trying to, I think Cleveland is the place to be. Small businesses and startups are choosing Cleveland as their home, which is really exciting to see. Within the past year or so, a gay-friendly hostel popped up right down the street from one of Cleveland's oldest and most historic landmarks, the West Side Market. I can't say I saw that one coming, especially in a conservative-leaning city. But then again, it might not be fair for me to even say that anymore. This past summer, Cleveland hosted Gay Games 9, an international multi-sport event similar to the Olympics, but catered towards the LGBT community. Some estimates say that over 10,000 people from across the world were in my city for this one-week-long event, which brought over $50 million into the local economy. Speaking of sports, do I even need to mention LeBron, or is that pretty obvious now? What about Kevin Love? What about Kyrie Irving? Or really, what about the whole Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team? Every single home game this season is sold out, even the cheap seats. I can't even begin to imagine the life and the energy that buzzes through downtown on game nights. And let's not forget about the Cleveland Browns. Year after year, the fans are voted by a popular vote as the most loyal in the NFL, even though our teams tend to be pretty bad. As for the Cleveland Indians, our team and our mascot might be kind of racist, at least the name. I'm not saying keep Chief Wahoo around, but I will say that Progressive Field is a beautiful place to watch a ball game on a steamy summer night. Restaurants and nightlife have even begun to pick up again. West 25th Street is no longer a sketchy place to hang out, with new breweries and beer gardens popping up alongside trendy restaurants. And East 4th Street, home to one of Michael Symon's most famous restaurants, Lolita, may soon allow their patrons to this pedestrian-only walking street to carry open containers of alcohol from one bar to the next. How European of my little Midwestern home. Last year, I read an opinion piece in Slate by Matt Iglesias, one of the founders of Vox.com. Its title, Move Silicon Valley to Cleveland. He discussed high housing costs and neighborhood tensions in Northern California, and suggested a place where the tech industry would be welcomed with open arms. Plus, housing and office rental costs are still pretty darn low. Maybe this is a stretch, but even nationally known writers are seeing the potential in Cleveland. Cleveland is home. It always will be. And maybe if some jobs in communications start popping up, I'll head back. But for now, I'm fine with gazing lovingly from afar at my not-so-little city that could.